Polish Massacre, Patsy Cline, and Alice in Wonderland are all on this day. Hey, welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is March 5th. It is the 64th day of the year. There are 301 days left in this year. It's the 10th Friday in the 10th week and the 75th day of winter. Got 15 days left until spring. Today is Employee Appreciation Day. Employee Appreciation Day aims to recognize all employees around the United States. This day encourages businesses and organizations to plan events and celebrate in recognition of their employees' performance. It aims to acknowledge their work and let them know that they are appreciated. Can't appreciate anyone with a celebration this year here at World According to Briggs, so I'm just giving everyone a little bonus. Once the pandemic's over, maybe we'll do something else. All right, let's see what else March 5th has given us. 1936, the first flight of the K-5054. This was the first prototype submarine Spitfire, advanced monoplane fighter as they called it back in the day, for the United Kingdom. The Spitfire was their workhorse fighter plane throughout World War II. They decided to make one that hunted submarines. The German U-boats submarines were really causing havoc for the United Kingdom and the United States, so they came up with this and it was pretty effective. 1940, 6 high-ranking members of the Soviet Union, including Joseph Stalin, sign an order for the execution of 25,000 Polish intellectuals and prisoners of war. It will become known as the Katyn Massacre. This was horrific and interesting at the same time. So, in the beginning of World War II, Germany invaded Poland, then the Soviet Union came in, and they sort of exchanged areas for a while there. Well, at some point, all these Polish people were taken out to the woods and killed over the course of a couple weeks or months, or something like that. The reason I say something like that is because it's disputed of how long this took. So, the Soviets said the Germans did it, and the Germans came back and said, hold on a second, because the Germans discovered all these mass graves, and the Germans brought it to the attention of the world. Now, you're thinking, why would Nazi Germany care? I mean, they have their own skeletons in the closet going on as this was happening anyway. Well, they had hoped that if they could show this, that would kind of fracture the alliance between the United States, United Kingdom, and everyone else, and the Soviet Union. It didn't work. So the Soviets said the Germans killed all these people and put them in mass graves. The Germans said they did. An investigation was done, and there was a discrepancy on when it happened. Well, during the winter, the Soviets held this area where it happened, in this forest, and in the summer, the Germans did of 1940. So when they dug up all the bodies, they were all wearing winter clothing. Some of them had been writing diaries, and the diary ended at, different days in the winter. So yeah, it was the Soviets. But it was pretty sad. They just figured they wanted to get rid of all the intellectuals because the Soviets thought they would own Poland, which they sort of did for a long time. And they wanted to get rid of all the intellectuals who might, cause trouble during Soviet rule. Yeah, it was a mess. 25,000. That's insane. 1946, the Cold War. Winston Churchill coins the phrase the Iron Curtain in a speech at Westminster College in Missouri, of all places. I think I mentioned that one last year, but it's pretty interesting. 1963, American country music star Patsy Cline, Hawkshaw Hawkins, Cowboy Copas, and their pilot Randy Hughes are killed in a plane crash in Camden, Tennessee. That was pretty sad. I read a whole thing about that. It was really, really devastating. And it's often overlooked by the Buddy Holly plane accident, which is a very similar situation. You had 3 stars of a show going to another show in another town, and they die in a plane crash. Pretty sad. 1966, a Boeing 707 aircraft breaks apart in midair due to clear air turbulence and crashes into Mount Fuji, Japan, killing all 124 people on board. 1970, the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons goes into effect after ratification by 43 nations. 1978, Landsat 3 is launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. So this was one of the first things that was actually just supposed to do global satellite imagery. Unlike later Landsat satellites, this was managed solely by NASA. It was decommissioned on September 3rd, 1983, beyond the design life. It was only supposed to be up there for 1 year. They decommissioned it almost 5 years later. 1982, the Soviet probe Venera 14 lands on Venus. 2012, Tropical Storm Irina kills over 75 people as it passes through Madagascar. And it was only a tropical storm. Granted, tropical storms can be pretty dangerous, but you always think a hurricane's what's killing people, not a tropical storm. No, this one killed 75 people. I think it's because Madagascar's not that developed, so I'm sure that played into it a lot. Movies released on March 5th, 2010. We got Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, that Johnny Depp Alice in Wonderland. That thing sucked. Oh my God, it was horrible. I watched that and it ranked right up there with as bad as his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory one. Oh my God, it was so bad. Tim Burton tried to put his little scary edge on both those movies, and that's not what they're there for. They don't need to be scary and they don't need to be edgy. They're Alice in Wonderland and Willy Wonka. Come on, make them neat, make them adventurous, and don't use the same little person as all the Oompa Loompas. It was ridiculous. But yeah, Alice in Wonderland, 2010, March 5th. I'd advise not watching it. It's really not worth your time. Born on March 5th, 1980, Shay Carl, American businessman and co-founder of Maker Studios. He is a big YouTuber. One of the biggest. He took some time off for about a year and he kind of stepped to the background. He's got a decent business and he's made enough money, but especially that Maker Studios, I think he sold it to Disney for like millions and millions. But his channel is called The Shaytards, and not because he's using the word retarded like most people think. His first video was him wearing his wife's dance leotard. So tards, get it? Shaytard. That's why he called the channel that. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. But he was doing daily videos for the longest time, and then all of a sudden nothing. Had some family issues. Died on March 5th. 1982, we lost John Belushi, American actor. Everyone knows who John Belushi is. He died in Hollywood, California of a drug overdose. If you ever get a chance, read what happened that day. I should say that weekend, and the people that came by and saw him while he was on this drug binge. And yeah, he was staying at one of the bungalows at Chateau Marmont in Hollywood, and eventually, yeah, just died. It's too bad. I drove by that hotel countless times in my life, working up in Hollywood or whatever I was doing up there, going to a show, something. Every single time I'd go by there, I'd think about John Belushi. So sad. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.